I'm Andrew Phillips and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to install laminate flooring on your stairs. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you want to know how to just lay laminate flooring in general, you can check out the video that I did earlier in this project via the link above. That'll show you how to do the flooring. Because in this video, we're focusing strictly just on the steps and the stair noses and all that. But here's the floor that I laid in the last video if you want to see how to do that. Now, to complete this project, here's a few of the things that you're going to need. You're going to need a hammer and a flathead screwdriver. And I'll show you in a minute what we'll need those for. We're going to need them pretty much to remove the carpet, the little carpet tack strips. That comes in handy to do that. You're going to need some kind of a jigsaw or any kind of a small blade that you can use to cut the noses off of the steps underneath the carpet, so that way we can get a nice clean edge to lay the laminate. You're also going to need an oscillating tool. That comes in handy if you need to make the cut closer against the wall, because sometimes when you're dealing with a jigsaw or another power tool, you're going to be hitting the molding, so the oscillating tool is really good because you can get in there nice and clean. You're going to need a handheld sander, an orbital sander, just in case you need to do any sanding to smooth things out. That comes in handy. Obviously, you're going to need your flooring, so you go ahead and order accordingly based on how many steps you're going to be doing and the square footage. You're also going to need the stair nose. Those usually come in 7-foot strips, so when you order that, you'll need to measure that accordingly as well. And then last but not least, we will need the Bostik 915 FS, which is the fast setting adhesive, which is what you're going to need to glue the laminate flooring onto the stairs themselves. And an easy calculation is you want to pretty much get, you'll be able to do 2 stairs with 1 tube. So that's your calculation. So for every stair, you're going to use a half a tube. So then order accordingly for how many stairs you're going to be doing. So these are all the main tools you'll be needing. There's some smaller things that might come up along the way, and we'll address that as we go along. Now that we're ready to begin, the first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and remove all this old dirty carpet off of these stairs, and then we'll remove the padding and then the actual carpet stripping that has the tack strips on it. So let's go ahead and do that, and that way we can start prepping the underneath subfloor so we can start applying the actual laminate flooring. You may need to use a blade. In this case here, with this first carpet here, we had the quarter round down here, but it was pinned back there. Couldn't get a grip underneath because of the flooring. Went ahead and made an incision here. That way we can get our hand in here and start pulling that out. Everything has been pulled up as far as the carpet and the padding. Now we have the task of going through. There's staples and fragments and stuff that all need to be removed. The staples can either be banged in or pulled out, whatever you want to do. There's a lot of dirt and sand here from over the years just working its way through the carpet. We need to then vacuum all this, clean it, so we can get ready to start cutting the noses off of these steps here, and then we can start prepping for applying the laminate stairs. Here's a close-up here. You can see here's a staple here, some padding there. You're going to have to remove all that. There's a staple holding that in, so you have to pull that off, take care of that. Here's a staple here. So pretty much we need to go through all this, all the steps, go ahead and take care of all that, banging everything, cleaning it all out, and then I'm going to come back and vacuum this, and then we'll be back. What I'm doing is I'm actually pulling up all of the staples that are in here, just because there's so many that they put down and these steps are so small that on the main floor when I laid that, a lot of them I was able to just hammer down. And part of that reason is because on the main floor we were laying that foam insulation layer underneath the floor. So you had a little bit of flexibility. On these we're going to be using that adhesive and gluing them down, so I want this to be completely smooth. I don't want any lumps from any of these staples sticking up. So rather than trying to just bang them down, and to be honest, they're popping up very fast, and easy. So I'm just lifting them all up. That way the floor is nice and smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and get them all off the steps. Then we're going to vacuum all this junk and debris. And then we'll be ready to start cutting off the noses here to get things ready to apply the adhesive and then the flooring. You can see all these steps here. Everything's all nice and clean. Staples have been removed, except here on the front pieces. Some of the lower staples I just banged in because that piece is not going to be as critical as the floor and the new stair nose. So all that's been clean. Coming down here, I just have these last couple steps right here to do. But you can see roughly what I'm dealing with here. And hopefully you don't have the same predicament when you're working on your stairs. But I've got about 50 staples between here and here that I'm either pulling out with the pliers, if not I'm having to use the flathead screwdriver and a hammer to lift them up. The small staples along the back here that were holding the carpet down, those I'm just hammering down because they're all the way back in that corner, so they're not going to be of any issue when the floor is actually put on there with the adhesive. So we're almost done getting this ready, and then we can start cutting the noses off. Everything has been cleaned off, staples pulled, everything vacuumed. You can see here looking down the steps, everything is nice and clean. So now we're going to start getting ready to cut the noses off the steps. We're going to use the jigsaw and the oscillating tool to do that. Now on this landing you can see it doesn't even have the nose on it, so we're good to go with that. Up here, however, when I laid this floor, I deliberately didn't put the quarter rounds in so that way this can still come up. So I can just pull this up, we'll slide this piece out, move that here, and then now we have a little bit of a lift, you can see right here, coming through here. So I just need to clean that up, and then we can then measure this piece here because we have to have a setback, and I'm going to show you when we go to put the stair noses on that the stair nose has to come into the floor, so you have to measure the setback and cut it, that way it fits in properly. So we'll clean up this little piece here, and then really the first full nose is here on this first step right here. You can see it right there, and then pretty much all the way down, that's how it's going to go. So what we're going to be doing is cutting that back to the wall itself, and I'll get a shot from underneath. And you can see here underneath where it bumps out right here. So that all needs to be cut flush to this back wall. So that way when we go ahead and apply the wood back here, that'll be nice and flush. So I don't know, it's approximately maybe about an inch and a half that needs to be cut off of that. I went ahead and cut this piece just to do a test. Lines up perfect, but one thing you need to realize is that if your flooring has this outer lip, which not all of them do, but if yours has that, you're going to have to take a table saw or some kind of a blade and just shave that off so that way it'll fit. Another thing you need to do is on the back of some flooring, not on all, but some of them actually come with this foam pad attached, so you're going to have to peel that off and clean it off good so that way when you apply the adhesive it can stick to the bottom of the floor, because with this on it won't. So I'm going to go ahead and shave this down, do that, and then we're going to start cutting the noses off of here. The easiest way to get this off, you can try to peel it by hand, but if you have a scraper, you just do that. Take a little bit of time, but you want to make sure you get all of it off, so that way the adhesive will adhere properly. And there we go. And that's pretty flush right there, that's fine. But you really want to clean all of them off, so that way they will adhere properly with the adhesive on the steps. So I'm running into a little bit of a predicament here. I started to cut the nose off this step and I started hitting the screw. So I had to kind of dig into the wood and I found this embedded down underneath and then puttied over. So we're trying to extract this screw. I went ahead and removed these other ones here. And I'm thinking I may run into one somewhere in this vicinity because I had one here on the end that I took out. And there's one right in here embedded, so there should be one here. So unfortunately I gotta undo that, but that's only on this top step because you had this board here and then they had this attached to it. The other ones here, they're just going to be solid, so that'll be easy. But I'm going to go ahead and take care of this and we'll be back. Finally got a little bit of thread on there so I could get the screwdriver to get in there. Had to clear out some of the wood filler out of the Phillips head so that way I could get a good contact there. So it's coming along slowly, but this is definitely a setback. This has all been cut. Now the jigsaw can't get in there, and that's where this oscillating power tool is good because you can put the blade in here. That'll cut it right out of there, and you'll get a nice clean edge right there since the jigsaw is hitting there. So those two tools combined is what you're going to need to cut the stair noses off of the subfloor. I'm going to go ahead and cut all of them off, and then we'll be back to clean up and then start laying the adhesive.
With this top landing now in place, the wood panels have been laid out, and you can see also that I've gone ahead and cut it with a setback, so that way when the stair nose, as you'll see here, gets applied, it has a little bit of a bump out underneath that needs to slide up against it and then overhang onto the front part of the step, and that's what makes it nice and secure.
Okay, we went ahead and put this flat panel here. So now what I'm going to do is put the stair nose, and as you can see here, this is pretty much all flush. So that way, and I've already gone ahead and applied the adhesive, this piece here will then rest right in here and then drop down with the nose, and then the overlap will come over here, and I'll show you. And you can see there, that's how it is going to lay. So you have that overlap here, and then you have right there where it goes over the existing floor. So now I'm going to go ahead and put that down, let the adhesive make contact, and we'll let it dry. Once you have it in place, just take a rubber mallet and lightly just tap that down. Make sure it's nice and flush. And then once you're done, then also hit it right in the nose a little bit, just to make sure that it sets back all the way. There you go, that's in. And this is how you want it to look. It's nice and flush, no gaps. And on this side as well. All nice and solid.
What I've found works best is if you pre-measure all of your steps. That way you get an accurate measurement of the width and also the depth, and then go ahead at that point and pre-cut the flat surface and the riser pieces. That way that'll kind of speed up the installation process. You can just start applying it. Pre-cutting the stair noses is also a plus to help expedite that process as well. Once you have them pre-cut, then you can apply the adhesive to the back side of them. Make sure that you line it up properly, and it'll lock in and slide right into that edge of the floor and going over the riser as well. Once that's done, you can apply some pressure and just pretty much push it down, make sure that it's a tight fit, level it out, make sure everything is nice and smooth. If any adhesive gets onto the actual wood laminate, it can be easily cleaned off by using mineral spirits and a rag. All you're going to have to do is apply it to the rag and then just wipe it off. It may take a little bit of time, so you'll have to put a little bit of elbow grease into that. But if you just keep wiping it and wiping it, in time you will get all of that off, and it'll clean up very nicely and it won't damage the wood. Don't forget to fill the holes where the old stair nose was going into the sidewalls. You can do that by using some wood filler. It's recommended that you do it before you put the stair noses on. It makes it easier.
Alright, well this pretty much wraps up this video on how to install laminate stairs. At this point, you would then put down any quarter rounds, do any touch-up that needs to be done, but we're not going to cover that in this video. If you want to see my video on how to install laminate flooring in general, you can do so via the link coming up at the end of this video. Please send me any questions, any comments. I would love to hear from you. As always, I appreciate all of the support, so please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.